is better than the story of someone who sacrifices for causes greater than themselves. I've had the good fortune to spend 60 years in service to this wondrous land, and I've been repaid 1,000 times over with adventures, with good company, with the satisfaction of serving something more important than myself. I hope those who mourn my passing, and even those who don't, will celebrate, as I celebrate, a happy life lived in imperfect service to a country made of ideals whose continued success is the hope of the world. I'm very happy with my life. I'm very happy with what I've been able to do. And there's two ways of looking at these things, and one of them is to celebrate. I am able to celebrate a wonderful life.
Service in the Navy, Congress, and the Senate, he spent most of his life serving. Senator John McCain was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumor last summer and died at the age of 81.
And today would have been his 82nd birthday, and on this day, Americans will begin to honor his life in services over the next 4 days. This afternoon, Senator McCain will lie in state at the Arizona State Capitol. We're told he's only the third person with this honor in the last 40 years.
KGUN 9 on your sides, Veronica Acosta is joining us live from Phoenix to tell us about what's happening today.
Yeah, well, hey, good morning. Thousands of people are expected to line up here at the Arizona State Capitol to get their chance to pay their respects to Senator John McCain and really say their final goodbye to him. Now, the senator's motorcade will bring him right here to the Arizona State Capitol. It's expected to get here around 9:50 this morning. At that point, once he gets here, he'll be met by his wife, Cindy McCain, by their family, as well as Governor Doug Ducey and his wife. After a private ceremony alongside his family, the governor and his wife, and some former colleagues of his, the public will then be allowed to say those final goodbyes to the senator. That starts at 2 p.m. That public viewing. McCain's casket will lie on a catafalque inside of the rotunda in the Arizona Capitol Museum. Now, the public, like I said, they'll be allowed to start going inside at 2 p.m. They originally had that deadline to 8 p.m., but we heard Rick Davis, the former or the McCain family spokesperson, say that if there's people outside waiting in line, they're going to get their chance to go in and say those final goodbyes and see the senator. Now, if you're coming out here, there's a few things that you need to remember. One, there is going to be triple-digit temperatures today, so if you're going to be out here, make sure you have that water with you, that protection, whether it be a hat or sunscreen. Also, there are no fire alarms allowed inside. There will be temporary gun lockers if you bring those. No small bags or no large bags allowed, only small bags. And then again, there will be a security screening for everybody who comes to the viewing, so make sure you prepare for that. There are a ton of folks here already. Media is here. There are servicemen and women lining up the front of the Arizona State Capitol, and citizens are starting to trickle in and really get into line to get their chance at saying goodbye to Senator John McCain. Mark, Whitney.
Thanks, Veronica. Now, after the service in Phoenix on Thursday morning, Senator McCain will be flown to Washington, D.C. On Friday, he will lie in state at the United States Capitol. On Saturday, there will be a national memorial service at Washington National Cathedral. Then on Sunday, a private memorial will be held at the U.S. Naval Academy Chapel in Annapolis, Maryland. It will serve as his final resting place. Now, starting this morning, we will be streaming what we can of the public service. KGUN 9, along with our sister station, ABC 15, will present special coverage from 9:30 a.m. to noon, live on air and online, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon.
Tributes have been pouring in around the world since we learned of McCain's death. In Vietnam, the foreign minister signed a condolence book at the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi, where McCain was once taken prisoner for nearly 6 years.
Back in the U.S. on the Senate floor, flowers and black material was placed on the seat McCain held for decades. Arizona Senator Jeff Flake shared his thoughts. Let's hear from him now.
We are fortunate to have known him best in Arizona. But he was bigger than any one state. He always belonged to America and to the world. And now he belongs to the ages. Farewell, Senator. Farewell, John. I yield the floor.
There also have been moves made to change the name of the Senate building from the Russell Senate office to the McCain Senate office. Now, before he passed, Senator McCain wrote a final letter to us, not just Arizonans, but all Americans.
Here's a family spokesperson reading some of McCain's final words at a news conference this week.
I've tried to serve our country honorably. I've made mistakes, but I hope my love for America will be weighed favorably against them. I've often observed that I am the luckiest person on earth. I feel that way even now as I prepare for the end of my life. I've loved my life, all of it. I've had experiences, adventures, friendships, enough for 10 satisfying lives, and I am so thankful. Like most people, I have regrets, but I would not trade a day of my life, in good or bad times, for the best day of anybody else's. We have helped liberate more people from tyranny and poverty than ever before in history, and we have acquired great wealth and power in the progress. We weaken our greatness when we confuse our patriotism with tribal rivalries that have sown resentment and hatred and violence in all the corners of the globe.
Senator McCain also wrote, "Americans never quit, surrender, or hide from history. We make history." And of course, as we remember the life of war hero and political giant John McCain, let's take a look back now from the battlefield to the campaign trail to his final days.
Here's KGUN 9's Craig Smith.
John Sidney McCain III was born in 1936 in the Panama Canal Zone, where his father was serving in the Navy. His father and grandfather were both four-star admirals. McCain became a naval officer, too, when he graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 1958. During the Vietnam War, in 1967, McCain almost died in a disastrous fire on USS Forrestal. Later that same year, he was seriously injured when the North Vietnamese shot down his jet over Hanoi. McCain was hurt when he ejected. He was captured, imprisoned, and tortured. His injuries affected him the rest of his life. When the North Vietnamese learned McCain was the son of an admiral, they offered to release him. Rather than become a propaganda tool, McCain stayed with his fellow prisoners until they were all freed in 1973. Back in the U.S., McCain's introduction to politics came when he served as a Navy liaison to Congress. He was a captain when he retired from the Navy in 1981 and moved to Arizona. In 1982, voters sent him to the U.S. House. And in 1986, Arizona voters made him a U.S. Senator and sent him to the Senate 5 times. John McCain made his first run for the presidency in 2000, but lost the nomination to George W. Bush. McCain had to wait for 8 years for another chance when Republicans chose him to lead their ticket in 2008. He lost the general election to Barack Obama. John McCain sometimes split with his party on key issues. Some labeled him a maverick. After 2008, he stuck to more conservative stances, often critical of the Obama administration, but he was still willing to criticize his own party. Speaking at Tucson's Raytheon plant, he said Democrats and Republicans were making cuts to military budgets deep enough to put troops in danger.
And I'd like to blame it all on the Democrats. In fact, maybe I will anyway. But there are Republicans that are such deficit hawks that they don't understand. The world has changed since 2011, my dear friends. And we are overtaxing, overemploying, overworking our men and women and the equipment that they use.
Senators gave him a warm welcome when he returned after his cancer diagnosis. He scolded them for years of partisan gridlock and urged them to put the country ahead of their political warfare.
What have we to lose by trying to work together to find those solutions? We're not getting done much apart. I don't think any of us feels very proud of our incapacity.
But now the man whose courage, determination, and toughness saw him through enough challenges for more than one lifetime is dead at age 81. Craig Smith, KGUN 9, on your side.
I hope we can again rely on humility, on our need to cooperate, on our dependence on each other, to learn how to trust each other again, and by so doing better, serve the people who elected us.
You might remember this. We just heard about it in Craig's package. In his last big moment in the political spotlight, McCain returned to the Senate floor after his cancer diagnosis. He ended up voting no on the GOP's effort to repeal Obamacare. Senator McCain often talked about his love for Arizona and made many trips to the southern part of the state over the years.
That's right. One of those visits included a stop at our station for an interview in 2016. He sat down with Stella Inger and Guy Atchley to talk about his views on gun control. McCain was also very passionate about military defense and was thankful for the work that originated here in Tucson. Here he is again in 2016 talking to Raytheon employees.
We're going to need the kind of capabilities that Raytheon has been so good at for so long.
Well, politics aside, Senator McCain was a big sports fan, especially Arizona teams.
So much, in fact, that some legends like Larry Fitzgerald, Luis Gonzalez, and Shane Doan will all have important roles at the memorial service. Fitzgerald will eulogize the late senator at a Baptist church on Thursday. He will deliver his tribute to McCain right before former Vice President Joe Biden does the same during the service. Also, Diamondbacks World Series hero Luis Gonzalez and longtime Coyotes captain Shane Doan will both be pallbearers for McCain's service. And of course, over the past few days, many have been sharing their memories of Senator McCain. And one of the things that comes up the most, his sense of humor.
That's right. Here's Jeannie Moos with a look at some of his big laughs.
He called his campaign bus the Straight Talk Express.
Why are we handing this out?
But a lot of what he expressed was humor, whether it was poking fun at his opponent, then presidential candidate Obama.
Maverick I can do, but Messiah is above my pay grade.
Or getting nabbed on camera playing poker on his phone during a Senate debate.
Occasionally I get a little bored.
Just a year and a half ago, Senator McCain was horsing around like a teenager, making devil ears,
laying out a series of demands.
Behind CNN reporter Manu Raju, McCain then tweeted out the moment, after all these years, revenge, more devil horns behind his fellow senator from Colorado.
Senator John McCain.
And then there were all those SNL appearances, never funnier than when
McCain sings Streisand. People, memory.
He said Streisand had tried to do his job talking politics, so he decided to try hers.
Papa, can you see me? Pretty annoying, huh?
Barbara wasn't annoyed. After his death, she referenced the SNL act in a tweet and called him a good man, a good senator. He even let SNL joke about his then running mate going rogue.
Available now, we got a bunch of these.
Senator McCain's attempts at humor sometimes blew up on him. Remember this? Senator McCain did when someone asked him about punishing Iran.
That old Beach Boys song, Bomberan, you know, bomb, bomb, bomb.
He made movie and TV cameos playing himself.
Excuse me, I just need to get my coat here.
Could you give me a minute here, please?
He made fun of himself.
I wish the guy would shut up.
No wonder he laughed so easily. He considered himself to be one of
Are the luckiest people.
Jeannie Moos, CNN, New York.
You forget about all those SNL moments. So
it's
funny
incredible,
to look back at that.
and a man just loved by so many people, and we're really seeing that now. You know, it's just incredible. Yeah. So, as we leave you today, here's a look at some memories of the senator. More live coverage of McCain's service continues at 9:30. You can watch it right here on Facebook Live or on the air. Thanks for joining us.